everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where your boys always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. We're back with the Monday night live stream, guys, and we do have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm your host, Nicholas Playlock.
I'm your host, Adam Peddle. That's right, everybody. We've actually got the free agency happening. It's official. Today was the start after all the qualifying deadlines. You know, we passed it, and now you can finally see some transactions. Hell, in this live stream, you might see a transaction or two happening. Maybe some big ones, you never know. But we got to look at what the Blue Jays have done these past 5 days. Who would they offer the qualifying offers to? And they've already made a move. Holy crap! What's that move? We're going to get into that shortly, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it, Nick.
Yeah, let's just start right off right now. I'm seeing Mr. Bloopy in the chat. Blockbuster trade! Not quite, man. We're not necessarily, like, blowing up the MLB right yet, but you know what? The Toronto Blue Jays are out here, and they are making some type of moves, and we're calling this an unexpected trade because I do believe that it is relatively unexpected. Toronto Blue Jays have acquired Brendon Little from the Cubs. Now, this is for cash considerations. In complete transparency, in complete honesty, had you ever heard of Brendon Little before today?
No.
Me neither. Me neither, man. But listen, we have an open mind. We're here to learn at Blue Jays Today, folks. So, Brendon Little, he is a relief pitcher from the Cubs, 27 years old. Last year in Triple-A, he had a 4.05 ERA, and that was over 73.1 innings pitched.
Yeah.
And listen, guys, I mean, these are the moves where right now it does feel like effectively nothing. You know, like it does feel like effectively really nothing happened here. But let me throw out a name to you right now. Jay Jackson, right? When the Toronto Blue Jays got Jay Jackson, first off, I don't even remember how we got him, right? It just feels like he, procured it. He just appeared.
Yeah,
but
minor league deal kind
literally,
of thing.
Right? It's like they just, hey, happened, right? That would have been a name where you were looking at him and you were saying, this is nothing, this is absolutely nothing at all. Then he comes to the MLB and he actually really puts up, and he gets the proper coaching that he needed to produce well. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to happen here with Brendon Little, but I'm also saying that it could. Clearly, they see something in him that maybe the Cubs didn't.
Potentially, right? Because you're also taking a lot of risk by adding him to the 40-man roster. He's only played one game in the MLB. Most of his career after getting drafted in 2015 has been in the minor leagues. So he's been grinding it out for the last 8 years in the minor leagues. He comes up, his first MLB game gets blown up. We're going to throw that in the trash bag. But apparently, the Blue Jays scouts over there in Chicago saw something in him and said, hey, as soon as that free agency door and the trade door opens, we're going to go and we're going to get him for cash. And apparently, he could throw multiple innings. So if he could throw multiple innings, maybe offer a little bit of length in that Blue Jays bullpen somewhere down the stretch, then I guess that's a win.
Well, and listen, okay, I do think that you made a great point there by saying that the second that free agency opened up, they were going, they had this guy locked down. His name was circled. They knew that they were going to acquire this dude no matter what, and they made it happen.
It's like your sleeper in your fantasy draft. You're like, if it falls to me, I'm going to get him.
Yeah. And I mean, that does actually instill me with a little bit of confidence. And clearly the Toronto Blue Jays management, I mean, they definitely did some things wrong last year, but one thing that they got right was the bullpen. They did figure out the bullpen. Everybody who was dealing with that, managing that, coaching that, it worked out well. So I as much as I want to be like, what are you doing? Like, why is this no name on the 40-man? I do want to give them a little bit of benefit of the doubt here and say, like, clearly they see something that we do not, and maybe he turns out.
And in the end of the day, folks, like, literally, you got him for cash. Yeah. So if you cut him from the 40-man, like, who cares? Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like you get a trade prospects or anything from this guy. So he might be cut in March. You never know. Like, so at the end of the day, no big deal, only upside.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be very interesting watching what they do with that bullpen, because right now, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong here, but I do believe that there's 2 available spots that we're kind of eyeing right now to be like, we're not sure necessarily what they're going to do there, right? Like 1 or 2 available spots, 1 for sure, maybe 2, but like how they are going to do this, who is going to own that role. So I do wonder if they're going to take the approach, kind of the shotgun approach of being like, hey, here's a bunch of guys who wants it, or if they're going to, potentially go out and sign a bigger name down the line and be like, this is your job to lose in the regular season.
Yeah, because you kind of got, you're forgetting about Adam Simber. Everyone forgot about him, like you got Zach Pop, he could be fighting for that final role. You got Nate Pearson because, you leave, Jay Jackson's gone, Hicks is gone. So you got 3 kind of candidates right there. This guy, Wes Parsons, who's been in our system. And then, yes, Brandon Little already added there, so he's going to be also in the mix. So, and Bowden Francis, we know he can come up. He's one of our long relief guys, too. So, hey, someone gets injured. Brandon Little. You got options there. So, we'll see what happens down the stretch. And this is going to be more of a spring training, going into April, May, June. We're going to maybe hear his name pop up a couple times. Maybe he gets called up one day.
100%. Brandon Little, we are in your camp, dude. Toronto Blue Jays clearly see something. I want to see it, too. Let's move on to the next piece of information that we got to talk about today, everybody. I see Smooth... I can't say this without cracking up. Smooth Brown Man in the chat saying, what if Chapman takes the qualifying offer? That is perfect transition to what we do need to talk about here. Is the Toronto Blue Jays, as expected, offered Matt Chapman the qualifying offer. He's the only guy that they did it to. There are 7 players in total that received qualifying offers. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but Shohei Ohtani was one. Aaron Nola was another one. A few other guys in there. Matt Chapman found himself being one of those 7 guys. Talk to me about this qualifying offer with Matt Chapman.
Well, Matt Chapman, like you said, there's no surprise here that he received a qualifying offer. It's for like $20.35 million, if I'm not mistaken, guys. I mean, it was just like the average of like every player who's signed in the past little bit.
Highest that it's ever been, by the way.
Highest ever. I think it's always going to get higher, right? Because every year you're going to have guys, inflation, guys always asking for more. Like, well, if this guy got that and this guy got that. But for Matt Chapman, the big thing you got to know here is he ain't coming back, folks. Just like the guy, Smooth Brown Man in the chat saying, what if he accepts it? There's no way he's going to accept his qualifying offer. This was just for the Toronto Blue Jays to get that draft compensation pick, because if you look at the free agency, and Scott Boras, he's a smart man, there's no way he's going to let the guy who's projected to make the most money in his position at third base just go back to his team for $20 million. Yeah, his average annual value is expected to get 17.2, but you always know that Sport Rack goes a little bit under. So I could see $20.5 million being the average he makes over 4 years, over 5 years. So why take the 1 year and when you're going to get it right now? Now, the one thing you could throw out there is, well, does Matt Chapman feel like he needs to prove himself for another season? If I'm Matt Chapman, no. If you throw up another bad season in Toronto, your value's going to go down, and you're only going to get older. So he's got to take care of that right now.
Okay, well, listen, man. I'm not necessarily going to fight you on that, okay? I do agree with a lot of stuff that you said. But Jimmy Ballcap Sports, shout out to Ballcap Sports, who's in the chat right now. Phenomenal content over there, guys. If you haven't already, check it out, then definitely do. He might have something to say, because he's saying, I can see him taking it. And let me play devil's advocate here for him potentially taking it. He didn't have a great year last year or the year prior, offensively speaking. Defensively, we know that he's a stud, but offensively speaking, not so much. He is currently listed at 30 and a half years old, right? So if he played one more season, then he would now be 31 years old when he would be signing again, like after this year, right? He'd be 31 years old. We've seen a lot of players at age 31 get some big-time deals, 5-6 year long contracts that have that high average annual value of $25 million. Now, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but George Springer was around that age when he signed his contract, 31, So I think that if Matt Chapman, and this really has to deal with, who Matt Chapman is as a human being. If he really does believe in himself to bounce back, like hardcore bounce back, like get back to 2018, 2019, then maybe you do. Maybe you do take it. You put up 35 home runs, and then you get paid big time. But however, there is also the flip side of that of like, if you did take it and you sucked again, see you later. That's the most you're ever going to get paid in the MLB, forever. Basically.
Listen, Matt Chapman. If I'm your agent, I'm your manager, maybe giving you the best advice. Look, you can believe in yourself all day long, but like forgetting 2020 because that was a weird year. You got to put up 2019 numbers to get what you're saying. You know what I mean? That big contract. You're 1, 2, 3, 4 years removed from that. You're not a 26-year-old anymore. You're 31 now. The last few seasons in Toronto, a great offensive team, except for last year. They couldn't do anything to save you. You know what I mean? So if I'm Matt Chapman, I think I just got to go. I think this has got to be the year to cash in. The free agency market, the way it is right now, like, this is probably the best situation. If there was other guys, let's say, like, you had Manny Machado, because I remember he signed early in the year last year. If he was still out there and there's other third basemen out there, then maybe I might consider it. But I'm the dude and someone's going to pay for me.
That's interesting. Honestly, what we should have done, and you guys let us know in the chat right now, who are the third basemen that aren't available this year, but that would be available next year,
I think
right?
we could see,
you know what I mean? Because if, for instance, I think you're making a great point right there by saying that, like, right now, I don't want to say that he effectively owns the market, but he does in a sense, because he is assuredly the best defensive guy. However, next year, you're going to have Bregman, you're going to have Moncada. I mean,
similar.
It's not
similar.
Yeah, like, I do think that Bregman is assuredly a tier above Matt Chapman, and you would prefer to have Alex Bregman. But he'd still be relatively valuable next year. I mean, it's very interesting. It's a hard thought experiment to wrap your head around. I think it really does come down to who he is as a human being. Are we gonna buy into the fact that I can bounce back hardcore,
right? Or
am I gonna take the payday? And let's face it, he's probably going to get $80 million at least, right? At least $80 million.
I can see Riley also makes $100 million too.
Sure.
Someone could probably pay him. I could see upwards of like 25 for 4 years, just because, again, that bat, the reliability, the veteran leadership. Someone's gonna offer him that kind of deal. I certainly wouldn't as Toronto Blue Jays, to be honest. Like, this is probably it. $20 million for 1 year is actually quite the perfect offer. So we'll see what happens, guys. Just to give you a little update, we didn't even mention here, he's got about a week to decide whether he wants to accept that offer or not. I got a feeling he's gonna decline it pretty fast.
Do you think that they have the conversations with him before they even give it to him, and just say, like, listen, Matt, we are gonna give this to you. What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, I
don't know how that works out.
That's the thing. Like, I do wonder kind of what the back and forth is there, because I think if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, like, what if he told you, yeah, I'm gonna accept it? Then you might rescind. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like this weird back and forth.
I said this before. I think I would accept a Matt Chapman return on 20. To answer Smooth Brown Man's question, I would accept a Matt Chapman 20 million for 1 year, just because, hey, look, we still have to transition a little bit in that third base bag. Obviously you have Relvis Martinez or Addison Barger, but they're still young guys. They're still coming up. They probably need another year to be like fully major league ready. You know what I mean? So if you did bring them up and have them kind of go under Matt Chapman's wing, that'd be probably a good situation, and then you also have a good quality third baseman to rely on.
Now, here's the one thing that I will counter with that. I would be okay with him coming back. I would be fine with him being a guy over there at third base. However, and we are going to talk about this later in this video, so stay tuned, everybody. Cody Bellinger is going to cost a lot of money.
Yes,
and if you're going to be giving out $20.5 million to Matt Chapman, it is hard to also warrant spending another $25 million on another baseball bat, because that effectively right there with those two players would be your allotted money for this offseason, right? So I think that's the one thing that kind of holds me back, is being like, listen, I'm fine with you being on the Toronto Blue Jays. I just think that severely limits what you can do in the free agency market with the current budget.
For sure, it definitely limits you. I think they must have planned just in case it happens. Okay, if this happens, this is where we're gonna have to allocate our assets and our resources, our money. Are we gonna go get the big bat, or are we gonna get a couple big bats? You know what I mean, to help the Blue Jays lineup and win in 2024. So I do hear you. I do think possibility there could be an option for the budget to increase. There could be a backup plan for that. There's a lot of things. I bet they've thought about this for the last month. You have a lot of time when you're not in postseason baseball to think about what you're gonna do this offseason. So I got a feeling that they've counted for that.
100%. 217 people watching right now, guys. If you haven't already done so, please hit that like and subscribe button, everybody. We got a lot more stuff to get through, but quick, let's make a little shout out to the first sponsor of this video.
Time for a quick shout out to Covered Bridge potato chips, made with ingredients from the St. John River Valley and cooked carefully in a local factory. They've got tons of great flavors like barbecue, sea salt, and sour cream and onion. Get a taste of this delicious flavor cooked the old-fashioned way. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Covered Bridge, everybody. They are absolutely phenomenal. That's like literally no cap at all. Like I do 100% feel that way. Even though I am getting paid to say that, like I would say it for free.
Dude, I'm sad that we're out of the creamy dills.
I am also, and honestly, the cheddar one's kind of. That fucked me up a bit. Guys, seriously, like up the stream. If we can get to 69 likes, Bellinger will sign. Just saying. That's a lie. Let's get to the Chad Green news, man. Okay, we were talking about the bullpen, everybody. Chad Green, he is going to be coming back to the bullpen. And I feel like I don't even know this guy. You know, I feel like he was a Toronto Blue Jay all of last year. But I don't know you, man. I want to know you. I don't know you. Now we get 2 years to figure out who you are.
See, technically he was a Toronto Blue Jay for all of last year, but we only really knew him for like a month.
Yeah.
Literally, he was a September call-up in my mind.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Literally, yeah.
And you look over at his stats, right? And you're like, 5.25 ERA, 1.33 whip. Look, he's coming off of Tommy John. You know, we could just throw this in the bag.
This is a garbage can for me, yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that.
This is one bad month for a reliever. All the relievers have it. You got to look at the history right here, right? 3 ERA, 3.12 ERA. You got the whips around 1.2, the whip under 1, right? Like, absolutely going to be a credible reliever for us. And a guy who we said this offseason, we need to find some holes in that pen. A sure up one hole, veteran leadership, you can count on him. And look at the contract here, bro. You have 2 years of 10.5. This is probably going to be, I think it's going to be our highest paid bullpen guy. But bullpen guys are going to get more expensive, especially the good ones. So I think this is a great exercised option.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I mean, like the Toronto Blue Jays, when they got him, they were aware of, they were aware that he was hurt. You know, so it's like when you paid for him. You knew that this is what you were going to get. You don't put these options in if you weren't already willing to make it happen. So that's why they made this deal in the first place, where it's like, because his contract was so low last year, they're like, look, we're just going to pay so you can get healthy. Then you'll get your actual money and you can produce with us. And I mean, again, we've seen this dude. We talked about this all last offseason, but we've seen this dude being phenomenal with the New York Yankees for a long period of time, right? He has proven himself in the MLB. I'm very excited to see what Chad Green can do in the Toronto Blue Jays uniform, and I feel like he's going to be one of those guys who can come in and be that later half of the bullpen options for the Jays.
Yeah, like you're going to have, you know, I hate to say that Jimmy Garcia is in contention for a setup role, but he always is every single year. But you're going to have, just looking over here, folks, you got your Chad Green, you've got your Tim Meza, you've got your, obviously, Jordan Monitor closer, Eric Swanson. Those are going to be the 3 dudes kind of like right behind a Jordan Romano as a setup guy. That's the amazing thing about having this this Chad Green coming in. You're flexible now. It's not one. It used to be always like Romano and then like a guy we don't know, like Simber. You know what I mean? Like we didn't know. Now we have 3 solid options back there. So anyone else that can emerge through our minor league system, through some good sneaky trades in the free agency, we'll take that.
Well, and speaking of the roster, everybody, I see some people in the chat already talking about it. We just got a tweet by the Toronto Blue Jays saying that there are some roster moves. You were kind of making a fun about it, making a joke about it when we started this thing, saying that literally some stuff could happen. Not a major trade, but some stuff did in fact happen. Adam Simber, Hagen Danner, and Otto Lopez, they have been reinstated from the 68-day IL. I mean, this was going to happen eventually. I want to see Adam Simber back, dude. I'm not 100% writing him off for good. I know that a lot of people are, and yes, I could see a reality where the Toronto Blue Jays do move on from him. But he was very good for us for a long period of time. He had a garbage year last year. There was a lot of injuries involved with it. We don't know how long he was, in fact, hurt and playing through it. Could that have been impacting his performance? Maybe. I would still like to see him show up, though.
Maybe. You know, and what you're seeing here, folks, is soon, just looking ahead into the future, soon the Blue Jays have to solidify their 40-man roster because at the end of November, I don't know when it is this year, either early December, end of November, you're going to have the Rule 5 draft. And everybody who's not on that 40-man roster will be up for grabs in the Rule 5 draft. So they're gonna solidify the dudes right now, take them off the IL. When you take them off the IL, you gotta put them back on there. So you're gonna probably see some moves from here until then of guys maybe getting DFA'd, sent off. We're probably going to maybe add a few guys from other people's organizations. All those sneaky moves.
Trade somebody away for some cash or something.
Exactly. And that's what the Cubs did, right? They wanted to get rid of Little. They got rid of him to a contender that wanted him. So you're going to see a lot of those mini moves. This is the beginning, just setting it up. Okay, who do we have? What can we do from here?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff going down in the next little bit, folks. Let's move on now and talk about the big free agent that the Toronto Blue Jays are pursuing. This is why everybody clicked on this video, and for good reason, folks. Cody Bellinger, phenomenal season last year. Just absolutely phenomenal season with the Chicago Cubs, dude. And if we want to poach some more Chicago Cubs, then let's just go crazy, man.
Sure.
Because Cody Bellinger, I'm not saying that he would immediately fix all of the problems with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Right.
But if they did have him last year, right, if you just, and again, I'm going to pick on Varsho right now, but if you did just swap out like one bat for another bat and had him in the lineup consistently, how many more wins do we have, right? Probably a decent amount. And that's not to say that we're going to get rid of Varsho in any capacity, but adding that guy in would be phenomenal.
Yeah, essentially right now you're looking at an outfield of Varsho, Springer, and then a hole. You got maybe your Davis Schneider, Biggio combo in there, right? And look, I love Davis Schneider. I'm excited to see what he can do here in 2024 for another opportunity. Again, Biggio ended the year hot. Excited what he can do. But our expectations there is an average MLB player.
Sure.
This dude's floor could be an average MLB player based on what we saw last year. So adding him with the glove, with the versatility going over to first base, we've talked about him for probably over a year now on Blue Jays Today, where we want Cody Bellinger to come on the team, and he proved it last year. For me to be willing to shell out the money, and I think that's enough of evidence for also the Toronto Blue Jays front office to go and strongly pursue him.
Yeah, well, let's show that then, because I think it was I knew. Who was it?
It was Bob Nightingale.
Bob Nightingale.
He made an article talking about Shohei Ohtani and talking about all the contenders mixed in with Shohei Ohtani, and he actually didn't put us in his top mix, which is whatever, Bob, forget about us.
Yeah, just screw the Toronto Blue Jays,
screw us.
whatever.
Screw us,
no
right?
problem.
Because he also says here the reason why we won't be going after him is because the Blue Jays, who badly need a left-handed bat, Ohtani's a left-handed bat. What are we talking about here, Bob? They also have strong interest, he reveals here, and he's an insider, everybody, strong interest in free agent outfielder Cody Bellinger, right? And then he talks about how we need to lock up Vlad, Bo, whatever. But I think having strong interest in Cody Bellinger is the big thing to see here. We've kind of speculated based on the history of the Blue Jays front office last year, inquiring about Bellinger, but this is confirmed. We still have strong interest in him, and I think we're going to be one of the front runners. Do you think we're going to be one of the front runners for Cody Bellinger and possibly be a reality?
1,000%, dude. Before we even started this podcast, we were joking around, right? Because they gave him some projected contracts, looking at 7 years, $168 million. That's what actually Ben Nicholson-Smith, he was projecting and saying, this is what I think he will sign for. That average annual value is almost identical to George Springer. It's $1 million off, right? And it's pretty much the exact same player. You're talking about a power-hitting, good defensive outfielder to come in to the Toronto Blue Jays and provide a boost to that lineup, right? And you'd be getting Cody Bellinger, I think, 2 years prior in age than you got George Springer, right? So you're effectively you're getting another George Springer, just a little bit younger. That's what this is. So, yeah, of course the Toronto Blue Jays are going to be in on it. We've seen them do it. They have done this before. And this is not the first time that the Toronto Blue Jays have been rumored to be going after Cody Bellinger. Hell, it was last year they were really interested in going after Cody Bellinger. And that was before he had put up the season that he just put up. That was after 3 years of just dog water garbage, And last year, he was incredible, right? So, yeah, if you were interested in him before last year, you were obviously going to be interested in him after your offense was bad, after you have a hole in the outfield, and after he put up numbers like that.
Look, and absolutely, and I want to go back on that contract that Ben Nicholson-Smith was talking about, the whole 168 for 7 years, $24 million being comparable to George, in fact, even cheaper than George. I think it's a great deal.
Sure.
Being a little bit cheaper, after a few years of some inflation in the outfield market, being a little bit cheaper. Yeah, you got 1 more year of commitment, but he's also, like you said, 2 years younger. He's perfect. Yeah. He is perfect. He fits the Ross Atkins scheme of we need lefties, we need power hitters, we need defense, we need versatility. He's literally everything you could possibly want in a player. Yeah. I think they're going to probably even pay a little bit more.
And if you think about it, right, everybody has been talking about how this management, how these guys need to address the offensive problem that they had. If Ross Atkins wants to hold on to his job, he is going to make a move for offense, right? You'd think that this offseason in particular, this is the season where he feels like he's got to do more, right? Because he knows that, if they suck again next year, that's it. I am toast, right? We can say that assuredly, that if we are bad in 2024, Ross Atkins is gone. So I know for sure that he's going to pull out all of the stops to get everyone over. He's going to spend as much money as he can to the cent. Cody Bellinger fits all the boxes. He checks everything off, man. And if you're not going to get Shohei Ohtani, and if you're not going to trade for Juan Soto, this is the next best offensive option.
Yeah, and if you want to save your job and also just save the Blue Jays window. And you heard about Mark Shapiro talking about the window being extended. Sure, yeah, you got to extend Bo or Vlad at one point, but I think signing Bellinger to a $168 million isn't going to limit you from signing one of those guys to a $200 million.
What about signing both of them?
You can't sign both of them.
You think that by signing Cody Bellinger, then that effectively says it's like we have made our choice.
Yep.
One of you is going to hit free agency. Yep. Okay, I mean
that's it. I mean, how could you possibly sign both of them? And then you still have so many more contracts too that are adding up. It's just I don't think it's possible.
I do hear what you're saying, man, and I think that you're probably right about that. It is in that regard. I think that it's a scary prospect, right? Because let's just say, for instance, you do go out, you do get a Bellinger right now, and then next year Guerrero goes for 45. And Bo Bichette goes 30-30, and
that's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have. Of course, it's a good problem to have.
That's a World Series run right there.
Literally, yeah, that's true, right? I mean, what am I saying? We can't get the back. Well, if we want to chip, who cares? Who gives a shit? Right? But yeah, I do think that you're probably right about that. It's impossible to have George Springer and Cody Bellinger and Kevin Gausman and Chris Bassett and blah blah blah, all these dudes on the roster, and then also have a $28 million per year Bo Bichette and $30 million a year Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Right? It just won't happen.
I'm coming around to the idea of, look, I'm leaning into those words, and I really do lead on the words of Mark Shapiro saying, like, we just want to extend the winning window. And I've seen Vlad, I've seen Bo for the last 4 seasons, and I know who they are. And my heart, after getting hurt, I think it's because I've gotten hurt so many years in a row. I'm starting to detach myself, disassociate from them, as being like, I need them to be Blue Jays for life. I need winners. We're not winners. So if you're going to bring in winners like Cody Bellinger, bring in winners. Whichever one of those two guys wants to sustain their career and be a winner here in Toronto, then do it. You know what I mean? I just want winners. So at the end of the day, I don't care who does it, who's the face of the franchise. I want a World Series. So if they have to go one day, they have to go.
Well, we're called Blue Jays today.
Yeah.
We're not called Vlad and Bo today.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I do hear what you're saying. Like, it would absolutely be sad to see them go.
Yeah. Exactly.
If that's what it's going to take this team to the next level, pun intended, right? Then you got to do what you got to do, And I do think that the Toronto Blue Jays, with the pitching staff that they have right now, it would be a gross mismanagement of the team to not give yourself the best possible chance to win in the following year.
You have probably the best pitching staff you've had in the last 20 years.
Sure, and you're going to walk in. Everybody's going to rate your pitching staff. You're going to walk in as a top 5 pitching rotation.
Yeah,
every single
because they're all there. They're all there.
Everybody's all there. You're going to have Alek Manoah coming back. He can't possibly be as bad as he was last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you got to imagine a little bit of positive regression in that regard. Everybody's going to look at that pitching and say that's a scary unit right there.
Yep.
If we can just be mid, offensively speaking, and not completely shit the bed when somebody gets into scoring position, then we're going to win 93, 94, 95 games, potentially even more than that if we really strike gold. So I think that absolutely Bellinger would be a phenomenal dude to go after. Let's give a shout out to the next sponsor of this video, and then we're going to take a few of your questions, folks. Whoa! Time for your daily Betway breather. A quick reminder that the best place to bet is on Betway. Must be 19 years of age or older to play. In collaboration with iGaming Ontario, please bet responsibly. Now, back to the content.
Shout out to Betway. If you guys are sports bettors, make sure you check out Betway. Yeah, throw your questions in the chat, guys. This is our chance to answer it here on the Blue Jays Today show.
I mean, everybody in here right now, like, we can already kick this off and just say, like, every single person that has been in this chat has been talking about Shohei Ohtani. That's what they're talking about. And listen, we are. I did see a tweet come out today. I did see a tweet from an insider come out today, and we were in the top, I think, 8 teams that were supposed to be linked to Shohei Ohtani, right? So you could say that, we're in the mix in that regard. But at the end of the day, what does that mean? Would he? Do you actually think that there is a realistic chance that he could look to the Toronto Blue Jays and say, I want to go there instead of the LA Dodgers or the San Francisco Giants or the New York Yankees or wherever else.
I think there's absolutely a realistic possibility. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's a high likely probability. I'm saying it is a probability. You know, like if we offer him $500 million, exactly what he wants, more than anybody else, then yeah, I mean he's gonna do it. And he's already said, I already made a video on this. I think it came out a couple days ago, where he already mentioned, like, yeah, I do want to go play for the Toronto. I do want to go play for the Toronto Blue Jays. I like what they have there in Toronto.
Right.
I like adding the idea of a third country to my fan base. So the idea of the attraction is there for him.
Yeah.
He just needs to see the offer be the best. If the offer's the best, then yeah, I think it's absolutely.
Would you rather have an off season where you get Ohtani and that's all you get, or you get Bellinger and you get another pitcher and you trade for a guy like?
I think you have to get Ohtani and nobody else.
I think so.
You have to get the best player of all time.
Yeah.
You can't just pass on the best player.
Honestly, when I was asking that question, I was like, "This is fucking stupid." Like, if Wayne Gretzky's available, then you just take Wayne
take
Gretzky,
him.
you know
Who cares? I mean? Money doesn't matter, because the amount of money you're gonna make back, adding the entire country of Japan, to your entire fan base is going to be unbelievable. Money doesn't matter now. Now you can take all the profits and sign the next Bellinger and the next pitcher in the offseason. You know what I mean? Like, just really invest hard.
No, I do tend to agree with you. So honestly, like, those are our thoughts on the Shohei Ohtani rumors, everybody. I mean, we're going to continue to cover them, but Toronto Blue Jays, it's not 0%. That's the important thing. It's not 0%. No, we're not the favorites. Dodgers are going to be the favorites. They are going to remain the favorites right up until he signs with another team. They are going to be the favorites.
So Insight also coming to the question saying, what's your dream realistic free agency for 2024? And what's funny is tomorrow we're going to be coming out with a podcast about the most realistic and most probable dream scenario for the Toronto Blue Jays free agency. So guys, hit that subscribe button and hit the post notification button.
11 a.m. tomorrow. 11 a.m. Eastern time, everybody. The video is going to be live. We're going to go through every single scenario for these Toronto Blue Jays, kind of do a Ben Nicholson-Smith deep dive, looking at what it is that they need to do. I'm seeing some Shohei Ohtani stuff there, and I mean, that's just definitely something that has been rumored to these Toronto Blue Jays, and somebody that I would be very interested in.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that we're both aligned in this, that Jorge Soler, if you're not going to get a Cody Bellinger, right, just looking at a tier right now, Shohei Ohtani's by himself.
Yeah.
Just from a hitter standpoint. We're not talking pitchers right now. We're just talking hitting, because that is really what the Toronto Blue Jays need to address. Shohei Ohtani's by himself. You got Bellinger after that. I mean, if you want to throw in Juan Soto potentially getting traded, that you could. I mean, I don't think that we're ever going to do that.
From free agency standpoint,
Yeah. From a free agency standpoint, then Ohtani's by himself. You got Bellinger after that. But then you got Jorge Soler, like, not incredibly far behind from Cody Bellinger, right? I'm certainly not going to say that he is going to do exactly what he did last year, because his career has always been a bit of an up and down, but he could be really good, man.
Yeah, like when I look at the OPS, just look at like a career OPS kind of thing, like I group him in with the categories of the Teoscar Hernandez's and the Lourdes Gurriel Jr.'s. Like, this guy's going to be a quality, serviceable outfielder that you can sign for 4 years and lock him in and forget and be happy with.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, in his best year, he'll be an all-star. In his worst year, he'll have a 750 OPS.
And that's what you gotta. And that's the risk you gotta take.
Basically what Teoscar Hernandez and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. are. They're quality MLB players, right? They're gonna have a few All-Star years. They're gonna have a few clunkers, but across the board, you can kind of set it and forget it.
Now I did see an article by Jays Journal, and I won't pull it up right now, but shout out to Jays Journal that it was Blue Jays Nation. Shout out to Blue Jays Nation that talked about how Teoscar Hernandez said in the trade deadline that he would be interested in a reunion with the Toronto Blue Jays. Is that something that you could also see being like a more likely reality?
I think so. I do think so. And I mean, you never know exactly what the relationships are like over there. But if he's saying that he's good with it back at the trade deadline, then you got to take his word as his bond right now and say that everything would be aligned for him to potentially come back. I wonder what type of contract he's going to command, because he is not coming off of the best year possible to command all the money. I think that most MLB teams are aware of what he can offer, but still, is this going to be a 1 year prove it again, or is this going to be a 5 year or 4 or 5 year, like, hey, lock it in, we know what you're capable of? Because he is coming off of a 741 OPS last year, leading the league in strikeouts. That is not something that you want to walk into the negotiating table with, right? You want to walk in with your All-Star year batting, 32 home runs, right?
You really do see the peak. It goes up, 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 down, down, down. He peaked right here in 2021. We had that All-Star MVP 19-year Silver Slugger. Then it's been down ever since.
Dude, I wonder if he decides to take the route of like, you know what? I'm good in Toronto. I'm gonna sign a 1 year with Toronto. Pop off, and then go.
Yeah, could be. I'd be interested.
I'm not. Yeah, I would. Oh fuck yeah, I'd be interested. Are you kidding? We know what Teoscar Hernandez is capable of doing with us. He knows what he's capable of doing with us. He knows that the system here in Toronto, that the stadium and the air pressure, whatever it is, it works over here.
Dude,
sure.
Sign it. Give me a Simeon contract. 1 year, 18 mil. 1 year, 18 mil. Prove it.
Yeah,
I'm down.
Get it done, man.
Let's go. Let's go.
Michael, dude, coming in with the absolute I'm so excited for this guy. Even if he's not going to be a Toronto Blue Jay, I'm so excited for this guy. He's asking about the Japanese pitcher, and if you guys aren't familiar, we're talking Yoshinobu Yamamoto, dude. My God, I have not been this excited for an international player, maybe ever. Ever. In my experience watching baseball and just MLB in general, this dude is going to be incredible. The fact that he is already going to be getting, and this is why the Toronto Blue Jays are not going to be in on him. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
That's what I was going to say is like, literally, this dude, I'm sad. I'm not excited because I'm excited for the MLB to receive this guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited for the Blue Jays because we're not going to be in on this guy. He's going to command $200 million.
Yeah.
This dude, because if you look at what he did in Japan, 1.72 ERA and under 1 whip over 7 seasons. That's just ridiculous.
And what's wild, right, is though that's phenomenal, but you also got to factor in that some of that was done when he was 18, 19 years old. That's crazy, man. I'm literally like leaving high school. And this guy has a 2.35 ERA in the professional league in his country.
And Poker Dog saying a good thing here. 138 pitches is what he threw in his last outing in that I think it was a Game 7 he pitched in one of their playoffs. Dude, that's phenomenal. Because you look at there and he had a ton of innings, but that was good innings for an MLB player, but you play less starts over in the Japanese league. So he's gonna probably pitch for like 230 innings. 240 innings.
That's the thing. And he's coming into the MLB at 25 years old. That is almost what a prospect would be in the MLB, right? That's almost what we have prospects in the Toronto Blue Jays system who are 25 years old and who have never come to the MLB. And this guy has 7 seasons of professional competitive baseball under his belt to go, here, look, I'm incredible. Pay me all the money and bring me. And somebody's going to do it, dude. And I'm so jealous for whatever team is going to do it.
It's going to be the Dodgers.
You're right.
I'm going to bank on it.
If they don't get Shohei Ohtani, then they are going to get this dude because their pitching staff is starting to deplete itself. Kershaw, free agent. No one's talking about that. Kershaw's a free agent. No one is talking about that at all. Their pitching staff is going down the drain, everybody. If the Dodgers want to stay competitive, and they absolutely are always going to want to, they get this guy, and I think you're right about that.
Yeah, guys, let us know all your thoughts in the comments down below about everything we talked about in this video. You have Matt Chapman. Is he going to accept that qualifying offer? Cody Bellinger. Are the Blue Jays going to make an offer? And it's going to probably be soon, folks. Like, I might see some big rumors soon about the Blue Jays maybe offering an offer to Cody Bellinger.
in the next few days, in the next 5-6 days, we're gonna find out whether or not Matt Chapman's gonna be a Blue Jay or not next year.
Yeah, we're gonna find out, guys. Guys, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and as always, guys, go Jays, go!